Once upon a time, Noddy was in his little red and yellow car driving through Toy Town. When he came to the village square, he had to stop to wait for the people to go by. Just then, another car pulled up beside him, and the man inside seemed to be quite angry. He didn't want to wait for the pedestrians to cross the road, so he started to go forward. There was a policeman saw what happened, and the policeman blew his whistle. The car immediately stopped, and the policeman came over to see the man in the car and told him off for trying to go past the crossing when pedestrians were crossing the road. Then the policeman looked at Noddy and said to Noddy, "You're a very good little boy, Noddy, because you always stop." "Oh, thank you," said Noddy, wringing his little head, shaking his head, ringing his bell. So Noddy then carried on his way to where he was going. Then he heard a sound. It was the front door of somebody's house. He looked to see who it was. And do you know who was there? It was the teddy bear, his friend. So Noddy parked his car and went over to see his friend to say, "Where are you going?" And the teddy said, "I'm going for tea with Mrs. Cat. Do you want to come in?" "Oh, yes, please," said Noddy. So Noddy went in and had a cup of tea with Mrs. Cat.
Can I blow a whistle?
But while he was there, he suddenly heard somebody blowing the horn of his car. Noddy rushed out and saw that it was a pixie who had stolen his car and was driving down the road. Noddy ran as fast as he could to try and catch the pixie, but he couldn't run as fast as his car. The policeman saw what happened as well and blew his whistle. But the pixie wouldn't stop. "What shall I do?" said Noddy, and he started to cry. Just then, his friend Big Ears on his bicycle saw what happened and chased after the pixie as fast as he could pedal. Luckily, Noddy's car, it doesn't go very fast, so Big Ears, when he pedaled very fast, could go faster than the pixie, and he managed to catch it up. Then he caught the pixie, took the keys out of the car, and held the pixie tight until the policeman arrived and put the pixie in handcuffs to take him to prison. "Thank you very much," said Noddy, "for capturing the pixie and saving my lovely little car. I'm so glad he didn't scratch it." And Big Ear said, "Oh, it's nothing. I will always do something to help my friend like you, Noddy." And then Noddy invited Big Ears to come round to his house for dinner.
Can I do the whistle?
So Noddy and Big Ears had a good laugh together in their house. They really did have a good time. But while they were having some cake, suddenly the telephone rang. "Who could that be?" said Noddy. He lifted the receiver, and it was the policeman. And the policeman said, "We've got the pixie in the prison now. He won't bother you again." And Noddy said to the policeman, "Why don't you come round and have tea and biscuits with me and Big Ears?" And the policeman said, "I'm delighted to come." So the policeman came round to have some tea and biscuits with Noddy.
Hooray!
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 And then
He might take you to the prison.
they watched the television. They turned the television on. That was the television, but it was some comedy show and he didn't want to watch it. So he turned it off again. Anyway, it wasn't long before the policeman arrived. "Come in," said Noddy. come and have some tea and biscuits with us. Yes, said Big Ears. Thank you so much, Mr. Police, for taking that pixie to prison. He's a very bad pixie for stealing the car. He shouldn't steal cars. Then
Can I do the whistle?
and then Noddy said, would you like to go for a ride in my car? And Big Ears and the policeman said, oh, yes, please. So they all got into Noddy's car, and Noddy pressed his car horn, which is this one here. It makes a very loud noise. Do you want to hear it?
Yes.
You have to press the button here then.
Okay, let's press it.
It's this button, the one with the picture of a horn. When he pressed the car horn, everybody in the road jumped out of the way. And then they could go into the countryside, and they went a long way into the countryside. And when they were out of the countryside, they decided to have a picnic. So they found a field, put down a blanket, got out some plates and cups, and some sandwiches, which they'd remember that Noddy had taken with him, and the biscuits and the pot of tea that he had. And Noddy was so pleased, he shook his little head with excitement, and the little bell on his head shook from left to right, ding, 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 it went. And they had a lovely time eating the biscuits and the tea.
Dad, can I do the whistle?
The whistle? Okay, the policeman said, Noddy, would you like to borrow my whistle? And Noddy said, oh yes, can I blow it? So Noddy pressed the whistle and blew the whistle. It went beep, 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 beep.
What can I do?
And everybody laughed. And then they finished their picnic, and it was time to go home. The end.
Again. On this again.
You want the same story again?
Yes, I will do that. I did that. When I can do the horn, you must, Daddy must, I must let me horn, okay? No,
I understand.